Last time you saw us, we were paddling down the Suwannee River, checking out the many springs that feed the river, and exploring the Gulf Coast. This week we're traveling to one of Florida's first state parks, O'Leno. It'll take us less than an hour to get there, so we'll kill some time stopping at a unique little place to eat called the Farm Stand. Like most good stops, it was recommended to us by some other campers. Shout out to them for great food. Walter must have been some cat. This place is fully equipped with a place to wash your hands, a place to do your business, and RV parking. If that wasn't enough, you can buy some of their really fresh picked strawberries if you come during the right time of year. They're really good. There is something about driving into a state park that's exhilarating. It's like you've entered a whole new world ready to be explored. Since it's a very bikeable park, we decided to explore it that way. Once the home of a cotton gin and sawmill, the small town that once sat here was called Keno, also known as a lotto gambling game. The town had quite a reputation, so a group of ministers and businessmen made an attempt to improve the reputation of the town by changing the name to Leno. When the railroad bypassed the town, it was all but abandoned in the 1890s and became known as Old Leno, now shortened to O'Leno. Developed by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s, O'Leno State Park is located 6 miles north of High Springs. Before we could get back to our site, the hub's battery died. It doesn't seem to want to keep a charge. We were determined to paddle the Santa Fe River. The hubs tracked down a company in Fort White that could run shuttle for us. They invited us to come back for some live music and good food. This time I came along. This is small-town tourism at its best. They equipped us with a map we could take on the river and spent a tremendous amount of time telling us about the river and what we could expect so we'd have the best possible experience. This wasn't something they had to do, it was something they wanted to do. The next day we loaded up the kayaks to see all that we could see on the Santa Fe. Like the Suwannee River, the Santa Fe is fed by several springs along its banks. The dark brown waters are tinted by the falling leaves. The Santa Fe will eventually empty into the Suwannee River. It's fascinating to see the clear spring water merge with the tannin water of the Santa Fe. The run is filled with springs, sinks, and even a touch of whitewater. The Santa Fe River is the very river that runs through O'Leno State Park. It's what makes O'Leno interesting. We took the River Sink Trail to follow the river until it disappears underground into a large sinkhole. It reappears 3 miles down at River Rise Preserve State Park. Very cool. We know the battery on the Hub's Bronco bike is on its last leg. We tried one more trail to see if the bike's battery could handle a short ride. Well, maybe not. I was really jazzed about this next paddle. Unlike the Suwannee and the Santa Fe River, the Ichetucknee River is filled with clear spring water. We fell in love with the springs when we paddled the Weeki Wachee 9 years ago, so paddling the springs is the #1 reason we came to Florida. The state park offers a shuttle service from the south entrance to the North Canoe Launch. It's $12.50 per person and $12.50 per boat. We just paid for the Hubs to be shuttled. Talk about pristine water. This spring-fed gem is 6 miles long before it meets up with the Santa Fe River. It's only 20 feet wide and 5 feet deep. You can also tube down a portion of the river, but the north end is close to tubers to help preserve the shallow waters.
It's like a sunrise warming us up. Been spending all your time lifting me up. All of the things I've been worrying seem to be disappearing now, reminding me what days should be made of.
Hubs was able to return to our truck using the shuttle because it wasn't too busy. But this isn't always the case. If you choose to shuttle like we did, you may be stuck hauling your vessel quite a way. We celebrated with some good food truck food. All in all, it was a great leg of our trip. I learned a few things these last few weeks. Most of the kayaking I've done was in tandem with the hubs. This required us to work together. I always thought I was terrible at it. Then we decided we needed something for future fishing trips because our lines kept getting tangled and the thought of kayaking with an inflatable with alligators seemed, well, you know. What I realized is how hard it is to paddle with another person. We're not very good at paddling in sync and was always fighting against each other. We're both much happier with our own boat, and I'm not so bad after all. Join us next time when we visit one of Florida's most unique state parks.
The first people ever to use that marsh.
My wife told me I have no sense of directions, so I packed up my bags and ran.